This article is coming from the Pound Sterling Live. Pound to Canadian dollar rate constrained by recycling loonie. It says the pound to Canadian dollar exchange rate slipped this past week ahead of a long Easter weekend after a robust employment report helped the loonie to better resist a rebounding U.S. dollar. Regarding the sterling, it lost the 1.68 handle against the loonie on Thursday after statistics Canadian data suggested employment rose at an accelerated pace. So the reason why it slipped was because if you have accelerated employment, that means you're going to have wage inflation, which means that you're going to have inflation because people have disposable income, which means that the Bank of Canada may increase rates. So if you're trading the pound Canadian dollar and all else being equal and consistent on the pound side, the Canadian dollar should go up in price against the pound, um, and therefore the pound Canadian dollar pair should go down in price. However, we also know that the pound is at a 2-month high against the US dollar, and the US dollar trades against a basket of currencies around the world. So when you put all that in a pot, um, and if you think that Canadian dollar is, or it is, correlated to oil, and oil has been down the last couple of months, with the exception of this past week, where the OPEC had a rate cut in oil, then let's just go to the charts. Okay, let's start with the monthly chart. So this long wick is August of last year, but since August of last year, price has been increasing. So this is the pound against the Canadian dollar. And as I was saying, since oil has been in a decline and the Canadian dollar is tied to oil, positively correlated to oil, this pair would go up in price. And if the pound has been rising against the dollar, that further strengthens this pair, which is why we've seen this dramatic increase from 1.4 to 1.68. So that is like, I think, over 2,500 pips. And the best trade would have been even here because there wasn't a lot of buyers. Now price is coming into all this garbage to the left. But nevertheless, we're going to try to find a trade setup. Let's go to the weekly, and the weekly report. The weekly chart just confirms that price is in an uptrend. And if you didn't know how to read candles or price action, just look at the moving averages. This is a 13 and a 26 simple moving average, um, and it's both of these moving averages are pointing up. So we can see that price has been consolidating on the weekly chart for the past couple of months. And that kind of makes sense to me because price is now near all this garbage to the left. However, if I look at price, I go to the left and look up, I see selling pressure, but I do see still an opportunity for price to continue to rise based on what the charts are saying, not necessarily what the fundamentals are saying. So let's see if we can see a setup. And this is the daily chart. Now I'm more interested in what's to the left and up near current price. So price is represented by this green dotted line. Just looking at the volume, and you are entering an area where the volume is pretty high. But still, I think price can still move higher. Let me go down to the 4-hour chart just to see what it looks like to the left and up. Again, price is right here. Okay, so if I was assessing the price action, this rally in price and basing and then a drop, it's just reacting to this area here. So as far as I'm saying, there are no real sellers at this level. It may just take some time before price gets through, if price continues to move higher. Okay, just want to go up and to the left. Yeah, I don't see any real sellers on the 4-hour chart. So I'm going to go back to the daily chart. Price is at the 1.679 level. And again, I think price can move higher. How high? Let's mark off the 1.72 area, which should be before the origin of the strong move really all the way down, right? If we back up to the weekly chart, this entire leg down started from right here. So my target would be below, as I would anticipate the sellers coming back into the market at this level here. So let's go back down to the daily to see if there's a setup. So there's no setup at the moment. What I would look for is some type of breakout above the recent pivot high and previous pivot high, and then a pullback. Find a level where there were buyers to potentially take that up to the 1.27 level. I'll keep an eye on this pair over the coming weeks and will report back my findings. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Please like the video.